So my torque wrench, Hi, my name's Joe. I'm a dude who loves motorcycles, travel, and just talking about life in general. Today I'm working on the garage, I'm getting my hands dirty, and I'm having a good time. If you are interested at all in any of those four things, motorcycles, travel, talking about life, and getting your hands dirty, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. And click on that bell icon too, so you know when I upload videos like this. When I'm traveling, I don't have a regular upload schedule, so that bell icon is kind of essential if you want to know when I upload new videos. So how's it going, everybody? I'm in the process of doing the 10K service on my bike, and when I originally installed my Lindby Multibar highway bar, I never did an installation video, so I thought I'd go ahead and do one right now. If you're curious at all, I was doing the motor mounts right now in the process of the 10K service. If you're interested at all in the 10K service, go ahead and click in this upper right corner here. Also down below, I've got a link for the 10K service series. This particular one with the engine mounts and the stabilizer, that is part 3. So go ahead and check it out if you want. But right now, I'm going to show you how to install the Lindby bar. So because I'm doing my 10K service, I needed access to the motor mount bolts here and the stabilizer bolts. And to do that, I needed to remove the horn. So that's why this is undone here. It's actually really easy to remove that. Here's the plate that holds it. It's held in place like this. These were the motor mounts, and the stabilizer link get attached to the frame. And the horn is held in place by 3 T25 screws. I'll go ahead and show you how to reinstall the horn in a little bit. But that is, in brevity, how I removed the horn mount. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and use 2 hands for a 3-hand operation and reinstall my Lindby Multibar as best as I can. So there's 3 points in which the Lindby Multibar connect. It's up here underneath the frame along with the stabilizer link. Down here, where for most bikes forward controls would go. And then on the other side, the same, where the forward controls be attached. That's where the Lindby Multibar is attached. Now the Lindby Multibar comes with some additional hardware for you to be able to attach where the forward controls would go to the frame. And that's these 2 pieces right here. So this hardware here, that allows you to attach it to the frame. So basically what you'd have to do with these mounts here. Is get a 14mm wrench on either side of the main bar and clamp these down into the frame. Now when you do this, keep this loose enough so you can adjust the bar and then tighten these down with 14mm wrench on either side. Now Lindby doesn't give a torque spec on this. Just tighten it down without tightening it too much. Go by feel. Give it a few rides, then go ahead and see if it's loose. Go ahead and tighten it and check it on occasion. Obviously, with any fastener on a Harley, because the Harleys shake, you're gonna wanna check your fasteners often. But I have these mounts already in position, so I don't need to adjust them. So for me, I am not gonna keep these loose. I'm gonna keep them tight because they are in the exact position in which I need them to be. But start by mounting the top part of the bar here underneath the fork and with the stabilizer link there. And then tighten these mounts down below here to the frame down below here. But keep these loose until you're ready to tighten everything up. So I'm gonna get started by putting a towel over my fender. And I also forgot to mention that just to make it easier on me, so I'm not working with an angled bike, I have the bike lifted up. I had the bike lifted up so I could do the 10K service on the isolator mount and the stabilizer here and the other motor mounts. But it makes life a little bit easier to get this bar on by lifting the bike and keeping it level. Because these are Harleys, I'm going to be using blue Loctite on every fastener. Especially since I'm seeing a little bit of rust on these. Fender kicks up a little bit of water towards the stabilizer. So I'm going to start again by doing a 3-handed project with only 2 hands. You want to make sure the Lindby logo is facing towards the front of the bike, and then we'll slide it in here. Just gonna leave it sit there against the towel and against the frame. Now the horn mount should be above the Lindby bar, and then sandwiched between the stabilizer, and then the stabilizer should be screwed into the frame. So it goes Lindby bar, horn mount, stabilizer, frame. This, admittedly, will be the hardest part. But once you get it up in here, you're doing pretty good. This is gonna be hard because you gotta sit here and hold the Lindby bar, not strip your screws, and get it through 3 different things. And then at a certain point, once you get it up in there, I got it threaded in there. Like almost immediately, it's too difficult to thread with your hands. And now I'll get the other side. Let's get it started to the point where, there, now I got it threaded in there. To the point where it's too difficult to thread in there with my fingers. All right, there, I got both of those threaded in as much as I can without a tool. So my torque wrench is rather large, so I have an 8mm hex here, and I'm just gonna use my regular ratchet wrench until I get it up in there, until I need to torque it. The crappy part is you've got very limited space to work with. But just keep making small movements. I'm gonna keep my hand here on the highway bar, so I'll hit my hand instead of the highway bar and dent it up. But very small movements, getting the bolt up in there. And you don't wanna have the bolts one higher than the other, so you wanna do them roughly about the same amount inside their threads. There's this dude who works on Honda motorcycles who's got his own YouTube channel. Hates the sound of ratchet wrenches. I don't mind them. It's the motorcycle MD. Smart dude. Really knows a lot about bikes, knows his stuff, but hates the sound of ratchet wrenches. And I'm just going back and forth between each bolt and tightening the one and then the other so they're at the same height. Now before I get too far along with the top part here, I want to make sure that I get the bolts in on the bottom part here. I don't want it to be too tight, pushed forward where it'd be impossible to get those bolts in on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and put those bolts in on the bottom. So as you can see, there's different size bolts here. Which one goes where? Go at the top part here, and the shorter ones go in the bottom. So start with the longer ones, put some Loctite on it. And you just want to make sure you're lining up this plate here with the thread holes, and then the Lindby bar gets lined up there too. All right, we got that side on. Now for the other side. So for this side it's a little different. There's this plate here that holds all these wires in place. You want to make sure to get this plate between the frame and the bar. And then this little top part up here, the wiring gets slotted into there. There's a little slot part here that I'm going to slot in there after I get this on here. So I'm going to go ahead and start threading. Now you can see there it was necessary for me to lift up the Lindby bar and the mount slightly so I could get it in the thread there. All right, that gets that started. All right, and these heads are 9/16. All right, I'm not gonna tighten those down yet because I wanna tighten the ones up underneath the frame here. All right, with just my regular ratchet now, I'm gonna continue to tighten up the bolts underneath here. Takes forever, but gets the job done. And again, I don't want one being higher than the other, so I'm making sure I'm switching up often enough to prevent that. And these go fairly deep into the frame here, so when you think you're close, you're not. Just keep plugging away at it. Okay, so I got those tightened down now without torquing them up. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tighten down the bolts on the bottom here. Again, that's 9/16. All right, so I got everything tightened up without it being torqued up. Now again, down here on the bottom, there isn't a torque spec for these bolts. So I've just tightened them without going too crazy. After riding for a little bit, I'll go ahead and check them. Like I'll go ride for about 20 miles or whatever, and then I'll check them, and then maybe I'll check them at 100 miles. And again, you should be checking your fasteners quite often. Even between your service intervals, go ahead and check your fasteners. So down here, where this wiring is, there's this little slot here and this hole here with that plate that goes between the frame and the mount. Just make sure you pop this back in. Need two hands. There we go, I got that popped back in. Now, the bolts up by the stabilizer definitely have a torque value. That's 25 to 35 foot-pounds. I'm also gonna recheck the ones up here. So I'm gonna check 4 fasteners now. The 2 that I was just bolting up for the Lindby bar, and then the 2 up here by the stabilizer. So the 2 down by here, the Lindby bar, 8mm, 25 to 35 foot-pounds. The 2 up here on the stabilizer, those are 25 to 35 foot-pounds and a T45. So we'll start down here. So 25 to 35 foot-pounds. There we go. There we go. Now the last things we need to do is reinstall the horn. With the horn, it is these small screws here, T25. I kind of wish Harley didn't make these a torque wrench. Kind of hard to get to, and it'd be just a lot easier to not mutz these up if it was 6 hex. And I'll just get one started here. There we go. And the other started. There we go. Now I'll bring in my Torx. T25 again. And there's 3 of them here. One is a little bit blocked by the wiring, so I never fully take it out of the mount. And the torque specs on that is like 5 to 8 inch-pounds. I don't worry about it. I just tighten it up so the horn's not flopping about, and that's good to go. Obviously check it on occasion to make sure it's not loose. So we got our Lindby bar all installed now. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you liked this video, if it was helpful at all for you, go ahead and share it with a friend who might also be considering the Lindby Multibar. I got a link down below for the Multibar if you're interested in purchasing it. Also, if this video was helpful for you, go ahead and click on that like button. It helps out this channel an awful lot. If it's your first time on this channel watching one of the videos, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. Got a lot of great content on this channel, from servicing the Harley to travel to just talking about life in general. So go ahead and click on that subscribe button. And of course, click on that bell icon so you know when I upload videos just like this. Thanks for watching, everyone. Keep your wheels rolling in the right direction.